Something new today, I have a prototype of the Xoot system. This is a new type of stand for the Cintiq 24 and 32 inch amongst others. And we're going to test this out and check it out just in a minute.
I ain't getting out of bed today. Keep waking up from the previous night.
Now I'm John, and I do reviews on hardware and software that help in a creative process. Now join me and remember who you were supposed to be by hitting that subscribe button, clicking that bell so you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. So what's a Xoot? Well, check this out. One little touch and my Cintiq goes where I want. What's a Cintiq? Well, here it is. Problem is, it doesn't come with a stand. The other problem is, we haven't paid the bills. Xoot Professional Drawing Stand. It's a touch strip activated electronic braking system which holds your Cintiq or your Dell Canvas in place. Now let's start with upgradability. You can update kits in the future as they make the Xoot available for other different types of units. The kits currently available are the Cintiq 27 QHD, the Dell Canvas 27, Wacom Cintiq Pro 24 and 32 inch touch. The width under the base is 16 inches. The height under the base is 2 inches. We're going to show that. Just note the Dell Canvas needs the additional purchase of a VESA mount stand from Dell. Now this is what was included in my kit from left to right. This is the clamp, pretty self-explanatory. This goes at the end of your desk. They gave me some adhesive strips because this is a demo, so we're not permanently attaching everything. In the middle are 3 touch strips. You're only going to use 2. They give you an extra right one, I guess just in case it breaks, I don't know. AC power adapter, some rubber feet, which I didn't use. All the screws you're going to need, both to screw the adapter into the actual Xoot system. Last, the 3 little doohickey wires that are going to attach the touch strips to the control thing underneath. This, of course, controls the electronic braking system, and we'll show that in a little bit. Now, we're not going to show a lot of installation here, just putting the bracket on the back. And I'm going to show you these 4 screw holes. I mean, this is where you're going to put the 4 screw holes that attach to that arm there. We're going to show a quick picture right from behind just so you can see what it looks like when it's done. So this is how the Xoot is designed to be moved. It's a push and pull system, easily slides around on your desk as opposed to an ergotron arm. We'll talk about that. Here's a picture of the back. This is the connector I talked about. That's the housing unit for basically the controls of the electronic braking system. They connect on each side to the touch strip using the 3.5 millimeter cable that we spoke about earlier. And finally, we're showing a little bit of the cable management here. The Xoot system has full functionality, to route your cables through the thing so you don't see them all over the place. Here's a front view of the electronic braking system working. Now we're going to go into it a little deeper. I just want to show you how smooth this thing is. It stays in place no matter where you put it. You just touch that touch strip and it engages. As opposed to this. Now we all love our ergotron arms, including me, but the thing doesn't stay in place and it wobbles the hell all over the place. Now for me, what I do is I have a little strip on the side where the thing kind of mounts against it, but you can see I'm showing it doesn't even really get flat, and that's because of the design of the Cintiq, meaning those VESA mount screws or lack thereof are down below, so when you tilt the actual Cintiq it never really gets flat. The other thing is I illustrate how it has improved workflow is you can see me really struggling to get this thing in any kind of position. So what I wind up doing is not moving it at all. You see how much wobble? There's almost little to no wobble on the actual Xoot system. We'll show that as well. So the first thing is, we talked about earlier, having that 2 inches of space underneath the Xoot system. And the reason for that is simple. You can fit all your basic stuff, your mouse, your keyboard, whatever. If you're a 90s kid and you don't have a Griffin PowerMate, you got some serious questions to answer. But anyway, be that as it may, you can see in motion here, the Xoot system doesn't actually go up and down like an ergotron arm. What it does is it really slides out almost like in a motion like this. It took me a little bit to get used to, and even when I was kind of in a hurry to shoot the review, I reached out to Chris, the owner, and he was like, hey, why don't you just hang out with it for a couple days, because it takes a bit before you really see how it improves your workflow. And he was right. I'm glad I listened to him. So the first thing that I really noticed is, like when I was talking about the ergotron arm, I never moved the thing. You see this strip here, and you see this here? This is all done to hold the Cintiq in place, because otherwise it just wobbles around like crazy like we showed. So it rests against here. You see this is soft, and this is actually something I got from Home Depot. It just prevents it from moving, and once I get it in position, that's it, I don't move it. Completely different with the Xoot system. So the first thing is bringing this guy down low. I'm not even used to working in this kind of capacity, meaning where it's you know, my back is straight as opposed to hunched over. You know, my pen's in hand, right? And I'm just kind of ready to go. Okay, we've got our, you know, rudimentary drawing here just so we can see. My back is straight, my neck is up, and I am able to very quickly get into a workflow here. So what's nice about this is that at least in my setup and a lot of people's, you know, they do have a keyboard tray underneath. Now it's fully accessible to me, you know, and if I just for a second want to move this guy, you know, out of my way, you know, or get it just a little bit higher, it's no problem. I just hit the touch strip and it disengages. Again, I know this is not a drawing video, so I'm not going to take forever on this, but you know, that very quickly, even things like the Express Key Remote, which I kind of always go on and on about, you know, it makes it so that everything is right within hand's reach, you know, and I don't have to, you know, screw around or get it in a set position, because if it's not where I want it, I can just quickly bring this up a little bit, reach out, and I can tilt it this way if I want to. I can slide it back. I can grab both of them, bring them a little forward if I want to, and then I can bring it even closer, you know, down all the way as low as I can get it without even moving my back. I mean, I had to stretch a little bit forward, you know, I'm kind of little, but I mean, what I'm trying to illustrate here is how much differently I'm thinking about it as I'm using the tablet. This is not, you know, in any kind of way that I've used a tablet before. I'm just really used to my Ergotron arm. And now what's really nice is a lot of people with the quality of these Cintiqs now, we're using them as our primary displays. However, in different use cases, like if I want to go into more of a you know, back office type of situation, or you know, like Microsoft Office or Google Apps or something like this, you know, this may not be exactly the way I want to work. So if I just quickly put this in a position, I can see now it's very, very easy for me to go into like OneNote, for example, and just start typing away at my next grand YouTube video, you know, or something like, you know, that's how quick it is. And if I'm watching YouTube, or I'm doing, you know, even watching a regular movie because of how great the screen is, now it's fully available to me, you know, as opposed to before, where what's going to happen is my posture is going to suffer because I'm going to be too lazy to move that Cintiq out of the way, you know, on my $100 Ergotron arm. Now, just to be fair, I'm not actually using the Wacom branded Ergotron arm, and I am using the Wacom branded VESA mount, well, which I have a video for. I'll have a pop-up for it, you know, in a second. But, and I'm not, obviously, I've never used the Wacom stand, but what's different about this as opposed to those stands that I've seen is this attaches to the back of the desk. So instead of it, you know, when you're trying to slide it forward, you know, instead of the whole stand kind of, you know, moving around the way you don't want, this guy is secured to the back of the desk. So you don't have to really worry about, you know, moving it in some kind of wrong direction, screwing up cables or, you know, whatever. I'm not sure that's a fair assessment since I've never reviewed that unit, but I can just see the benefit of having, you know, anytime you can have something physically secured like this, it's always going to be better, right? And now if I want to watch a movie, I can slide this guy back, kick back, and here we go, perfect posture. Now, one edge the Ergotron arm does have on the Xoot system is that it has rotate, and now they've addressed that. It'll be in a future prototype of the model, but they have found a way to implement rotate in the Xoot system. Now, obviously my prototype doesn't have that available, but it's nice to see that, you know, even before launch, that they're listening to the feedback and the different features people want. In addition to that, they're actually going to make it so the bracket that clamps on the back of your desk, right now it can't go through like a 2-inch hole like, you know, an office desk or something like that. They're going to be changing it up as well so that works. Now speaking about screen wobble, we saw how the Ergotron basically every time you touch it, it's like a earthquake hit or something. This thing is really steady. I mean, there's a slight bit of wobble, but I mean, you're not going to really notice that as you're drawing as opposed to the Ergotron. But I found this extremely sturdy, didn't move around a lot. To my surprise, didn't slide, backwards and forward, when I was drawing. Obviously the braking system, I wasn't really worried about that. I was worried more that the thing would lock in place. But again, we talked about it before. That's the benefit of having that arm and back of it and then anchor into the back of that desk. You're not getting a lot of sliding and moving. It basically stays in place. So my overall impressions, yeah, good. I mean, my only regret is that I'm going to have to send it back to him. But, I spent the whole weekend with it. I'll probably spend some time with it, just a little bit longer before I have to send it back. But I could definitely see how something like this can be, sort of a game changer. And people have to sit in front of a, display all day drawing. When I review things like this, customer service is really like a big thing, right? So, and Chris is like top notch. I mean, I was texting him, different things. He offered all kinds of support, if I ran into any trouble and things like that, or if I just, of course, didn't read the instructions or whatever. So I really hope this Crowdstarter campaign, I'm going to link it below, if you want to find out more information about it. Like I said, this is a demo, so it's not going to be nearly as polished as the final product, right? I mean, this is a demo. He's sending it out to people to test it out and, try to break it. So I'm really looking forward to see what the final design looks like. All the added features we talked about, the different things like rotate and such like that. And, I really hope this goes well for this guy and Xoot and the team over there, because they put their heart and souls into this, and it really shows this quality product. So hopefully you guys liked this video, and if you did, please click the like button, leave some comments below, let me know your experience with your Ergotron arm, what your sort of temperature is for trying out a device like this, and anybody who has the actual Wacom stand, I'd like to hear from you guys too to see what the differences are and such. And I will check you guys out in the next one. Thanks.